And then your decision, I think, at the end of your time with EY, I think you were with EY 8 years, and I think you had moved into international tax in the last 2 years, and then I think you made a move out on your own, I think, for the next couple of years. Was that
we moved to another a kind of small firm at that point,
okay.
yeah, before setting up ODG. So the decision to move, is that the question?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you stuck with tax, I guess. You'd
Yeah.
seen audit, you'd seen corporate services. Here you were working in international tax for EY, and you continued with tax. You could have, I mean, you had a choice, of course, with
Sure.
qualifications. So yeah.
And it was genuinely a consideration for me at that point in my career. I'd done, as you said, I had done the audit side of things. I had done the sort of the corporate finance and the corporate services specialisation, and worked in that area for a period of time. And I'd also sort of specialised in tax as well with the tax qualifications got. And I think having that sort of breadth of experience across the professional services advisory space, I couldn't see myself doing anything other than tax, to be quite honest with you. But within tax itself, and this is more prevalent, let's say, in sort of bigger firms, larger firms, where things were heading at that point in time is, I suppose, in order to progress up the ladder, you're looking at specialising in a particular area of tax. So at that particular point in time, let's say, transfer pricing, base erosion, and profit shifting was huge on the agenda, and it was starting to become much more prevalent in the tax space. But you mentioned international tax. I mean, that dealt with an awful lot of cross-border stuff, very topical stuff. I suppose there's specialisms in VAT, there's specialisms in income tax, specialisms in employment taxes, and really across the board. So to that sort of requirement maybe to specialize in one of those, or kind of pick a horse, so to speak, kind of prompted me to say, is this what I want to do? Am I prepared to sort of pick a horse, so to speak, for the rest of my career? And I probably wasn't ready to do that, really, Tom, to be quite honest. I liked the sort of the general tax advisory role and being able to sort of touch the various areas of taxation for businesses generally, as opposed to specializing in one particular area.
Okay.
So from that perspective, that was probably main part of the reason for moving to a smaller practice, but specializing in tax advisory from that point of view. The decision then to set up ODG in terms of our own business, I suppose that was really born out of the experience of working with that other small practice and specializing as a tax director. I suppose one might say we were kind of essentially delivering the services almost as self-employed anyway. In many respects, we had our own client portfolio. We were sort of dealing with and managing them on an ongoing basis. And with my business partner, Rory O'Doherty, who was also working in the same firm with me at the same time, and who also worked with me in EY, which is where sort of that whole relationship developed, let's say. We just decided over a coffee one day that maybe we could chance doing it for ourselves as opposed to doing it working for other people, and that was kind of a thought in the initial stage, but it was something, as I said, having had the experience of Big Four behind you, and also the experience of smaller firms and understanding how the real world works, as many might say, and certainly the SME side of the things, we felt we could certainly deliver those services ourselves, and that's really where ODG Advisory is kind of born out of,